Welcome, boys and girls, to another of Cosette's Enchanted Journeys. I am Jenny, the storytelling genie, here with my sweet and crafty cat, Cosette, and we wish to welcome you to our magic lamp. As you can see, Cosette and I are already gathering up some special ingredients for today's craft following our Enchanted Journey story time, because Cosette has picked out for us today one of my favorite stories from when I was a little girl. It's all about a special little witch and her cat named Gink and some of the adventures they get into. There was a whole series of books about this special little witch, and I'm excited to share just one of them with you today. Are you ready to go and have a special Enchanted Journey story time with us now? What do you think, Cosette? Should we send us on our way on our magic carpet? I think the boys and girls are ready. I think I'm ready. I've got my special witchy hat on today. I'm feeling magic flowing through. Are you ready? Let's do the magic words together. Rub your hands together and say, I wish to go on an enchanted journey, and away we'll go! Oh, I just love this time of year and all those spooky decorations. How about you? Are you ready, boys and girls, for another Enchanted Journeys story time? Today, I have one of my all-time favorite books to share with you. This is about a little witch who never has the same pair of socks on and has a little cat named Gink, and they get into a lot of mischief together. These are a series of books that are no longer in print, sadly, but I've collected them over the years, and I just really love them. And I don't know if you've heard of them, but I'm so excited to share with you today. This one is called Dorrie and the Haunted Schoolhouse, and they're by the author and illustrator Patricia Coombs. I hope that you enjoy it as much as I do. This is Dorrie. She is a witch, a little witch. Her hat is always on crooked, and her socks never match. She lives with her mother, the big witch, and cook, and her black cat, Gink. One Monday morning, the big witch rushed into the kitchen. Finish your breakfast, get dressed, you will be late for school. I want you to teach me the potions and spells, said Dorrie. I tried, said the big witch. It gave me a headache. A teacher is someone who doesn't get headaches. Someone like Professor Zucchini. You're going to school. Dorrie went upstairs to her room, and Gink went with her. She put on a dress. She put on her best hat. She reached under the bed for her lucky sock. It wasn't there. She pulled everything out of her closet. It wasn't there. She looked under her pillow, in the wastebasket. She emptied her dresser drawers. The big witch threw open the door. Hurry, you're making me late, she cried. I have to fix the lightning for the weather witch in Bloomsbury. I can't find my lucky sock, said Dorrie. I can't start anything new without my lucky sock. It's a rule. Go, now, snapped the big witch. That is my rule. Down, down, down the stairs, out the door, across the yard, and into the woods went Dorrie, with Gink beside her. Gink, said Dorrie, my luck is even worse than I thought. There's a hole in my pocket and my lucky penny fell out. And I forgot our lunch. I wish we were in Bloomsbury helping Mother. The path zigzagged deeper and deeper into the woods. The shadows grew thicker and thicker. Just when they thought they were lost, Dorrie and Gink saw the old schoolhouse ahead of them among the trees. Dorrie went inside. A thin witch with glasses and a short round wizard were standing there. Dither, mince, said Dorrie. Aunt Trillium made us come, said Dither. Home, said Mince. No, said Dither. We just got here. Thick gray dust and cobwebs covered old desks and chairs, books and boxes of paper. It was very, very spooky and very, very still. All at once, a weird howl echoed through the school. Dorrie and Dither looked at each other. It's the ghost that flunked, whispered Dither. He can't get into the next grade, but he hangs around and causes trouble. Aunt Trillium said so. A pale shape whistled past their ears. We'd better find Professor Zucchini, said Dorrie. Quick, he must be upstairs. Up the creaking stairs they went, and down the hall. The first door was nailed shut. The second door was nailed shut, but the third door was partly open. Inside was a blackboard covered with writing. There was a table with a big cauldron. Jars and bottles and bags of magic were everywhere. A broomstick was propped against a chair. A black pointed hat with a Z on it hung on the back. but Professor Zucchini was nowhere to be seen. "Why isn't he here?" said Dither. "Where did he go?" "I don't know," said Dorrie. "The cauldron is hot, so he must have just left. He was writing on the blackboard, see? The numbers stop and there's a squiggle." They sat down to wait for Professor Zucchini. They waited and they waited. They got up a dozen times to look out the window to see if he was coming. All they could see was shadows and trees. The blackboard creaked and groaned. They both stared at it. "Look," said Dorrie, "this part must be for us. It says, Lesson 1, Quick Start Broomstick Mix." "Well," said Dither, "doesn't look any harder than the recipe for cornmeal muffins I made last night. Let's work on it and surprise the professor." "That's a very good idea," said Dorrie. "I will read it to you and stir. You can measure out the magic stuff and put it in the cauldron." "Home," said Mince. "No," said Dither. "We haven't learned anything yet." "Okay," said Dorrie. 1/3 cup of black powder, a pint of yellow crystals, a tablespoon of toad spit, 1 firecracker, 3 cups of eel slime, a pinch—" "Slow down!" cried Dither. "What comes after the quart of black powder, the 3 cups of crystals, and the pint of firecrackers?" "Dither, that's wrong. It's 1/3 cup of black powder and 1 firecracker. Quick, we have to add a lot of the other stuff now." Dorrie reached for the jar of eel slime. "Oh, no, you don't," screeched Dither, giving Dorrie a push. "I'm supposed to do this part. You stopped stirring, and look, it's boiling over." "You're the one who did it wrong," cried Dorrie, stirring harder and faster. "You don't even know how to measure." "How can I measure when you're splashing the guck all over my glasses?" snapped Dither, dumping in a bag of feathers. The cauldron was glowing hotter and hotter. All at once there was a boom and a flash of light. The potion flowed over the sides of the cauldron. It flooded the table and spilled, bubbling and hissing and steaming over the floor, into the hall and down the stairs. "Make it stop! Make it stop!" shouted Dither. "Abracadabra!" cried Dorrie, banging on the cauldron with the ladle. It didn't work. The potion kept on flowing. There was a distant cracking sound. The schoolhouse lurched. Another crack and a loud whoosh, and it lifted itself high in the air. Over the woods it sailed, tilting and spinning. It sped over Witch's Meadow, over Black Pond, and the pumpkin fields beyond. Dorrie and Dither hung on to the windowsill and looked down. "I think we're in trouble," said Dorrie. "Big trouble." "Oh," wailed Dither, "we're almost over Witchville. Everyone is going to see what we've done." In the streets of Witchville, witches and wizards watched the schoolhouse whizzing over the town. It began doing loop-the-loops and figure eights. "Ooh la," said an old witch. "Our schoolhouse is even more haunted than it used to be." "A first for Witchville! We're making history!" shouted the news witch, getting out her notebook. Dorrie and Dither leaned out the window yelling for help, but the witches and wizards couldn't hear them. They waved their arms. The witches and wizards waved back. The schoolhouse did a tailspin around the town tower. The witches and wizards clapped. They cheered. They sent up balloons. "It's no use," sighed Dorrie. "They think Professor Zucchini is putting on an air show." Soon Witchville was far behind them. Dorrie and Dither slumped together on the floor. The blackboard creaked and groaned. "Professor Zucchini is going to be very upset when he finds out what we did to the schoolhouse," said Dorrie. "And Mother is going to be really mad at me." Dither moaned. "So is Aunt Trillium. She may never let me come to school again, and I'll never learn anything harder than muffins." Dorrie nodded. "I knew I shouldn't start school without my lucky sock." "Some of this mess is my bad luck too," said Dither. "Aunt Trillium washed my lucky ribbons yesterday. She washed all the luck out of them." Dorrie looked around. "We're stuck up here in the air. The professor is gone. We can't go home. We can't get anybody help. There is only one thing to do." "A good luck potion!" cried Dither, opening another book. They looked and looked. Some of the recipes were too hard. Some of them took weeks to make. "I found a good one," said Dorrie. "It looks easy and quick." They set to work. They wiped out the cauldron and cleaned the ladle. They cleared the table. "This time we won't make any mistakes," said Dorrie. "We won't argue. I will read slowly and give you lots of time." "I will measure the magic carefully," said Dither. "If I don't understand something, we'll figure it out together." They spoke in whispers as they worked. Soon they had everything ready: a cup of salt, a pint of 4-leaf clovers, a quart of dew, a silver spoon, a nutmeg, and a lump of coal. They had a splinter from a ladder, mud from a wizard's shoe, and a handful of poppy seeds. "Now it is time for the handful of witch's hair," whispered Dorrie. She snipped off part of her bangs. Dither cut the end of one of her braids. They sprinkled the hair over the potion. Together they began to stir. The cauldron glowed pink, then red, then orange. The handle of the ladle hummed under their fingers. The steam floated in rainbows all around them. They counted to 10. "Now," said Dorrie. She pulled off a sock and dropped it into the cauldron. Dither put her ribbons in. Mince tossed in his vest. Dorrie rubbed some of the potion on Gink's paws. Last of all, they dropped in Professor's black pointed hat. By turns, they counted to 909 until the cauldron had cooled to black again. Then Dorrie pulled out her new lucky sock and put it on. It was still warm, and it smelled like clover and nutmeg. Dither tied on her ribbons, and Mince put on his vest. Dorrie took the professor's black hat and hung it on the blackboard frame. "It's working! I can feel the luckiness all over me," said Dither. "Me too," said Dorrie. "But it is awfully late. The sun is starting to set. No one will be able to see us." Suddenly, the blackboard let out a long groan. It was shivering and quivering. It began to sag. Slowly, it slid off the wall into a pile of lumpy blackness. As they watched, a hand came out of it, then an arm, then another arm, and then the rest of the body stood up. "Professor Zucchini!" they cried. "My dear students!" he shouted. "You saved me in the nick of time with this wonderful good luck hat." "Now, could you please save all of us?" said Dorrie. "From lesson 1, we don't know how to get down." Yes, we need more gravity around here," said the professor. "Stay in line behind me and do exactly what I do. 1, 2, 3, go!" Up and down the halls they went, chanting and making signs in the air. Slowly the rooms filled up with lavender light. The schoolhouse began spinning down, down, down out of the sky. It landed with a thump in the middle of Witch's Meadow. "Look where we are!" cried Dither, running to the door. "Very nice," said the professor. "Much better light than in the woods." "And much closer to my house," said Dorrie. "Let's go have tea." The big witch was glad to see them. Professor Zucchini told them all how he'd turned himself into a blackboard. "Just as I was writing down a formula for brainwaves, the ghost howled in my ear. Instead of 3, I wrote Z. If Dorrie and Dither hadn't changed my luck before sunset, I'd have been a blackboard forever. They did good work." "I like school a lot," said Dorrie. "Especially now that it's in Witch's Meadow." "School, good luck, ghost, blackboard," said Mince. "Mince learned 5 words today," said Dither. "He never wanted to say anything except home until now. Aunt Trillium will be so pleased." Cook came in with a tray of sandwiches and cookies. An orange sock was hanging out of her pocket. "You found my lucky old sock!" cried Dorrie. "Where was it?" The big witch looked at her. "It was tied to my old broomstick, which was in the lilac bush." "I was practicing," said Dorrie. "If you taught me to fly, I could fly to school." "Well, that might be a better idea," said the big witch, "than flying the school." The end. And what did you think of Dorrie and the Haunted Schoolhouse? I hope that you enjoyed it. I know that this sort of magic with witches and spell work isn't real, and I'm sure you know that too. But it's a lot of fun to pretend and to read about magical stories, isn't it? I've always enjoyed those. And speaking of, we can use a little bit of real science to do a little bit of pretend magic. How would you like to do that with me today for our activity? I have just the thing based on this book. It's a witch's brew. Would you like to see how science can work to make a bubbling and boiling brew of potion? All right, let's go and try it together now, shall we? Let's go. And welcome back to the Magic Lamp, boys and girls. How did you enjoy today's enchanted story all about Dorrie the Witch and the haunted schoolhouse and her silly friends? It sure is a good thing that they decided to take upon themselves some of that spell magic and to save their teacher. Today, I have for us a little magic that we can do in our magic lamp. Okay, it's not really magic, it's science. but it's fun to play pretend. You see, I am obviously not a real witch, I'm a genie, but I like to play dress up and pretend and to have fun creating things. And this is an activity you can do at home as well. You don't need a magic lamp, you don't need to be a witch, you don't even need to be a genie. You can just be you, but you'll want the help or supervision of an adult with this fun craft, but it's a lot of fun to play and to do together. So without further ado, Cosette, should we begin? All you're going to need today is a cauldron. If you don't have a cauldron, a big pot will do, or a big bowl, something that you can fill up with some water, a little bit of baking soda, and some vinegar, and maybe some creepy crawlies to play with. That's about it. It's very simple. So the first step, I've already taken and I've put in 4 cups of water into my glass jar, and I'm gonna just add this right into my cauldron. Just like that. The next thing I'm going to grab from my potion table is some creepy crawlies. Oh, how about a snake? And ooh, I don't even know, a praying mantis maybe? Here's another snake. Ooh, drop them right in there. I've got a little alligator, another little alligator, and a frog. They're going into my magic pot. The next thing we're going to do is we're gonna sprinkle in a little bit of baking soda. You could start with about 3 tablespoons or so. I'm just gonna kind of eyeball it. That's about 1. That's about 2. And oops, that's close enough. That's about 3. And then I'm gonna give it a little bit of a stir. Just mix it into the water, get it all in those bugs. If you want, for an extra special part of this craft, you can add some food coloring and make your brew have some magic color. But here comes the magic part. The last ingredient to make our special witch's brew, we just need a little bit of vinegar. So I'm gonna pour it in and we should be able to see it bubble and boil. Woo, there it goes. Wow. I'm gonna pour in some more. Ooh, look at my witch's brew. Now if you used a pretty food coloring, maybe some green or some purple, some blue and red, wow. You can have quite the witch's brew going. And as you can see, you can just add some more baking soda. You can add some more vinegar. Can you hear it sizzle? Oh, it's so much fun. And then you can share this with your family or your friends and tell them all about your special witch's brew. You know, we didn't say any magic words. Do you think we need some magic words? Boil, boil, toil and trouble. Make my potion boil and bubble. Bring us a frog, maybe a snake. But let's not make them scary. Let's make them fun and silly and great. And, oh, there's a frog. Oh, that was a lot of fun. I hope you enjoyed making special witch's brew with me in the magic lamp. And I hope you enjoyed the story of Dorrie and Gink and Dorrie's school friends. And I hope you learned a little bit about how baking soda and vinegar react together and can make kind of a bubbly, brewy witch's potion. What else could you use this for? Well, if you have science projects coming up, boys and girls, you know what you can use some baking soda and some vinegar to do? You can make your own volcano. That's another fun project you can do with the help from an adult. But as always, I am sad to tell you we are out of time for today, but I sure hope that you enjoyed visiting Cosette and myself in the magic lamp and making your very own witch's brew, and I hope you'll come back to see us again really soon. Until you do, take really great care of yourselves, and we'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.